Hi, I'm Bob Ethington.
And I'm Nick Nicholas.
And this is From Akron and Beyond. Well, hello there, everybody.
Hey.
Nick and I are back, and we are back with a guest that we've had on the show before. He's one of our favorites, and that's Mr. Ryan Humbert. Hello, Ryan.
Hello, guys.
Hi.
And I got a confession,
Oh, no.
Bob and I had a rule where nobody's allowed on the show who wants to be on, who actually requests to be on. But we actually asked you,
Yeah.
It's like your third time, but we
Yes, it is.
we love you, man.
Well, I love you guys too. Appreciate all the support of everything I've been up to.
So, to that point, we've had Ryan on before with Tracy Thomas, talking about his work with her. We've had Ryan on before talking about his long career in music locally and beyond. And that was an interesting one, which I would highly recommend and suggest anyone out there interested, go back and check it out. It's on all the different
Streaming services.
Exactly. Right. Apple or Spotify or wherever you go. But today we are going to talk specifically about the Shootouts and about the Shootouts' new album, Switchback.
Yeah.
And we're also going to just kind of catch up with where things have gone, because it occurred to me when we were thinking about possible guests that so much has happened with you, Ryan, since the last time we talked. It seems like it wasn't that long ago, but it's been really eventful. So let's kind of start with the album that had come out before that, which Stampede?
Yes, Stampede.
Okay.
That one came out in 2023.
So if you don't mind, give us a little timeline of kind of where you were when that album, after that album came out. It got a lot of attention and stuff, but I mean, spoiler alert, listeners, Switchback is getting all kinds of acclaim and is a big seller, and has even gotten a great review in Rolling Stone magazine.
Yeah, it's
which
amazing.
is pretty cool. So I'm going to shut up about that stuff and let you talk about it, Ryan.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, so I guess if we're looking at the timeline, there was much like a lot of bands and a lot of businesses and all that. There's like the pre-COVID and post-COVID. And we actually recorded our second record in Nashville. It's called Bullseye, as the pandemic was starting.
Okay.
We were in town at the top of March, and by the time we left town, I mean, they were taking up tables and chairs at restaurants around us. They were shutting down the city. Emily and I canceled flights. We drove home. Like nobody knew what was happening.
Yeah.
And that was a weird time, but we decided to use that time wisely, finish up Bullseye. We ended up putting it out in 2021. And really since then, man, it has just been on the go. Very go. We put that record out in spring of 2021, and by September of 2021, we were back in the studio. And that we were working with Ray Benson and his son Sam Seifert as producers. Ray Benson, of course, of the legendary band Asleep at the Wheel.
Right, yes.
And it was one of those things where that opportunity presented itself, and we just decided to jump, And the record was still brand new. I didn't even really write as many songs for Stampede as I would have liked to, because I was still busy promoting and working all the Bullseye stuff.
Right, sure.
So that record, we put out at the very beginning of 2023, and it really has done well for us. We had a great time with that record. I think it was kind of the culmination of the first two records, and kind of still figuring out a little bit of who we are within the context of our mission statement as the Shootouts. And a lot of really great things happened because of that record.
It's a great record, actually.
Thank you.
I was going to ask you too. Record labels, I know they're different than the way they used to be when I was in the business. But are you on the same label on all three?
So let's see here. Our first record was actually our first three records were all distribution deals, and really the newest one kind of is in a way as well. But it's the start of a longer contract where we'll kind of dovetail from being a distribution deal into more of a standard deal for the next.
So you
next
control everything, you own it.
As of right now, the Shootouts own all of our masters, and I'm to the point even working in the future here, we want to work with folks that value art and value artists and value music. Right. And, I would be lying if I said that if the perfect opportunity came along and we wouldn't own the masters, I would consider it. But at this point, we own all 4 records. I'd like to try to continue that trend.
Right, sure.
And that's when we met the folks from Transoceanic Records who put out our new album. It's been such a great relationship, just really passionate, smart folks that truly love music and truly love artists, and it's a very, very artist-friendly contract where we do get to maintain ownership of our masters.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. We often are grumbling about the current state of the music industry.
Whatever that may be.
Whatever it may be, how amorphous it has become, and, it's very a lot of power centered at very, huge conglomerates and what have you. But it does seem like, I think this is just a tribute to how there are still people out there who love music. They love making music. They love producing it. They love listening to it. And so there's always going to be some artist labels in a way,
fans first, then entrepreneurs last.
And it sounds like you're in that position.
And our first 3 records were put out as distribution deals. The first one with MRI Megaforce, which was kind of fun because Megaforce really got their start putting out heavy metal records.
Right. Yeah.
So that was kind of fun. And then the last 2 records by Soundly Music, a label that just about a week ago was announced that they were bought by 30 Tigers.
Oh, really?
30 Tigers is a great record label distribution marketing company out of Nashville.
Yeah, I just bought a couple. One John Doe that came out a couple years ago, and Craig from
Craig Finn.
Craig Finn.
Yeah, and 30 Tigers is a very artist-friendly label as well. And the woman that started Soundly Music, basically, it's a long story, but she decided to sell the label, and she only wanted it to go to somebody that would put the love and care into it that she did.
Yeah.
And David Macias, who started 30 Tigers, was kind of her mentor, and he came to her and said, I'll buy it.
Oh, wow.
So that's kind of cool. That means that our last 2 records will now be kind of administrated by 30 Tigers.
Wow. Oh, okay.
On the Soundly label.
Yeah.
And we're just going to leave them there for the time being.
Sure.
It's
the right thing to do.
Yeah, right. Leave them there. And to be honest, the folks at Transoceanic and myself, we're very focused on the future, on this record and where we're going. Not that I'm not keeping an eye on those records, but now, they're going to be in good hands.
Yeah.
They were in good hands with Soundly. They're in even probably better hands now at 30 Tigers. And so, we're focusing on pushing along with the new album and with what we want to do next. And that, stuff that we haven't even announced yet, but we're getting ready to do a couple bonus tracks. I think we're going to do a Christmas song, just to really keep some new music coming more regularly.
Right.
And we've already kind of very gently started talking about album 5. And album 4 has only been out a month, But, it's like with any business. I mean, I think that people forget that if you really want to do this right on a bigger level, you kind of don't have a choice but to think about it like a business. And you can't just look at what's going to happen next month. You have to look at what's going to happen 6 months from now and 18 months from now, and try to put together some semblance of a calendar that makes sense, that also keeps you sane too.
Right. Now, see, Ryan, you're very
besides
savvy.
Being organized.
Yeah, well,
Thank
don't
you.
interrupt me. So, speaking of organized or lack of same, no, you're very savvy about this stuff from years of being involved in it. Probably learning sometimes the hard way, but who knows? But
very much so.
But do you essentially manage the band in a sense?
Yeah,
or
it's interesting. We have.
Because everything you were talking about, there's just now, I'm thinking like that sounds like what a manager would be saying.
We're in kind of a weird spot, and because we're all friends here, and because we're obviously talking a lot about a music business stuff, I'll probably be a little bit more honest and open about some stuff than maybe I would elsewhere. But of course, people can hear it. But anyway, the point is,
you do realize,
it's recorded.
No, but the point is that we are in kind of a weird position where we are a band that is still growing. We've had a lot of very cool wins and successes.
Yeah.
But we're still considered a baby band by a lot of metrics.
Sure.
And, you've got to keep hitting certain thresholds before certain things happen. But, we have worked with management or management companies, and we have struggled because of the fact that, to your point, I kind of do know the business, right? And so, like, for example, we recently worked with a company, fantastic folks, passionate, great project management company for bands and labels. But they're used to people coming in and saying, well, here's a record, now what? When we started working with them, I went to them and said, here's a record, and I also just signed with this label. Here's our publisher, or I'm sorry, here's our publicist, here's our radio reps, here's our radio team. So all the stuff that this project management company would typically do for artists as a manager, I'd already done.
You have your own teams set up?
Yeah, we've got a whole bunch of team. Yeah, a whole bunch of. Yeah, so the point is that, like, if we're going to work with a management company or a manager, they've got to be able to do more than what I can do.
Right, yeah.
Because why would we pay somebody to do the work that I can do?
Right.
And whether or not I'm doing it better or not is a different. But that said, I've got a pretty good track record.
Yeah.
And I would be more than happy to turn that over to somebody. But they've got to be willing and able to do things that I can't.
Right.
Because if that's the point,
probably
then
certain
it's
connections,
just throwing money away.
Maybe certain connections or something.
Yeah, exactly. And that's probably the biggest part of it. As far as a project manager goes, that's really a skill set of mine. But if Irving Azoff called tomorrow, we'd take the call. So I mean, it just depends on what you're looking for.
Right.
And that said, we really enjoyed working with that company, and they did help us with some things, of course. But there was some learning curves at the top of that relationship, because all the stuff they would typically do for an artist to set up an album, I had already done.
No kidding. Wow.
So we had to kind of figure out where they fall in and what gaps in our team could they fill.
So where does that leave you now as far as that goes?
We're still working with them. But that said, I mean, we've got a wonderful team. We've got 4 radio reps right now, Americana, AAA, and college. We've got a fantastic publicist out of Nashville that works with some pretty amazing, huge artists. We just signed with New Frontier Touring, a booking agency.
Oh, yeah, they're big.
Yeah, they work with the Avett Brothers and Rodney Crowell and the Secret Sisters and Band of Heathens and Riders in the Sky and so many great acts.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a really great thing for us as well. We're all very, they're excited about us. We're excited about them.
Right.
Obviously with Transoceanic Records, they have been so great to work with. And really, again, passionate about what we're up to, and they want to see us win, and we want to win for them.
Right.
So it's been a great relationship with them. I think we're going to continue. Basically, this record was kind of like let's see if we can work together and how we work together.
Right. Yeah.
And if we're all happy, then let's move forward with the next 3 records.
Right. Okay.
Beautiful.
Nice. Now, I'm curious. You guys have been playing some big shows locally and some big shows around, and of course you're becoming practically regulars at the Grand Ole Opry, which is fantastic. A tricky question here.
No, that's fine.
But at some point, are you guys going to have to go on the road and travel all over the place?
We already have.
You have,
really?
But you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm talking about several months on the road.
and we're up for it.
Okay, one step below what the Black Keys did, because we could do that.
For our last record, I don't think a lot of people realize this. For the Stampede album, we toured our asses off. I mean, we were in 27 states.
Oh, really? I didn't realize.
Well, me neither.
Record.
Wow.
Yeah, and we did over 100 shows that year. I mean, in a little over a year. Really. We kind of took 2024 a little lighter, and that was on purpose. I mean, basically from 2022, when 2021, when Bullseye came out, right into Stampede, right into making Switchback, it was over 2 years of hustling, and we were all over the country.
Wow.
We were really working hard. We basically put out 2 records and recorded 2 records all within a 2-year period.
Right.
So we took a lot of 2024 as just, I mean, we were active.
Yeah.
You know, we were at the Opry, we were recording, we were doing things.
No, you seemed as busy as ever. Yeah.
We definitely pulled back on the calendar a little bit. And a lot of that was travel. And we were switching booking agents and switching labels. And there was a lot of stuff that needed my attention and the band's attention on top of just also saying, like, you know, we just hustled our asses off for 2 years. It's okay to take a break.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And on top of it, I mean, you know, Emily bought a house, Brian got married, I had heart surgery. I mean, you know, we decided to just say, like, you know, let's just dial it back a little bit, focus on our personal lives for a few minutes while we're still...
Come on, Ryan, you have heart surgery, you can't get out there.
Yeah,
play a 3-hour gig, come on.
Yeah, you know, I mean, listen...
Load the equipment.
Literally 6 weeks after the surgery, we played the Grand Ole Opry.
Wow.
You know, so yeah, it was... and it was right back into the swing of things.
Yeah.
And, you know, everything was fine, feeling great. It's all great. So...
but the technical question I guess I'm getting at, this comes from something that I... sort of faced at one point some years ago and then realized that it was always going to be impossible for me to do it.
Right.
So I never did it, which was, you know, there's a way of touring where you kind of like you go from here to Chicago.
Sure.
And then you come back.
Yeah.
Or you go to Chicago and Milwaukee or whatever. You know, certain like local things, but they're kind of like 3-4 day kind of like
manageable.
Manageable short shots in a sense, and then you come back home, you're back for a week or two, whatever, working, doing your other things that you're doing, as opposed to renting a van and driving all over the country and not being back to Akron, say, until Christmas.
And we've done both of those things.
Okay.
Did you really?
Yeah, I mean, we've done both of those. I mean, on Stampede, we were gone for a month and a half at one point.
Okay.
So, you know, it's, and that included South by Southwest and the Opry and all sorts of stuff. I mean, you know, so... also, to be fair, nowadays we live in such a, you know, there's a lot of craziness that makes touring harder than it's ever been. And there are a lot of folks, a lot of bands that do...
Tell us about the craziness.
Yeah, we want to...
Well, I mean, you know, just, rising costs is a big one.
Yeah.
You know, the ever-changing music industry as far as... I mean, here we are 20-some years in, and streaming is still changing the game.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, people when people were booked years ago, would be like, well, tell us about this record and tell us about who produced it and who with the press and this and that. Nowadays, they just want to hear what's the streaming numbers and how many people did they sell in this market last time.
Right.
Really?
You know, there's a lot of different changing landscapes. I mean, you know, everything costs more, of course, to tour. So... there are major acts. I mean, Vince Gill's a great example that is touring all summer long into the fall, and he's only doing Thursday, Friday, Saturdays.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Ryan, are college stations the way they were years ago?
You know, I don't know if I am the best person to answer that question. We are working a college campaign for this album.
I heard you say that.
But it's still a new market for me. I mean, my background is AAA and Americana, so I'm kind of still learning as we're moving into the college markets. So yeah, I don't know if I'm the right person to answer that yet. Yeah, ask me a year from now.
Okay.
Next time we're on.
We'll have you back.
But yeah, you know,
next
with
month.
the ever-changing costs, all that stuff. I mean, nowadays there are a lot of bands, even great up-and-coming bands. We just did a show with a band called Town Mountain, and they're a fantastic live band. They've worked with Billy Strings and Sierra Farrell, and they're on all sorts of amazing festivals across the country. And even though they're doing great, and they've kind of decided the same thing. We're just going to do Wednesdays through Saturdays, and we'll do the occasional 10-day run.
Right.
You know, I think that we're also at a day and age where, like, it's got to be better. It has to be, and it probably was better back then too. But it's got to be better to work harder, not smarter.
Sure.
Or smarter, not harder. I'm sorry, smarter, not harder. That's the key there. And it's something that we've talked about with our booking agent. Like, you know, we're not a band that needs to go out and do the grind yourself to death.
Right.
We're not 20 years old.
Right.
So let's be smarter, and let's focus on quality over quantity. I would rather play 60 shows in 2026 that are all really good, get us in front of more people, maybe a little better paycheck, maybe there's whatever they are, whatever the key is there.
Right. Yeah.
I'd rather have them be those than we're playing in Dubuque, Iowa on a Tuesday night for $100. Like, we're not that type of band anymore.
And that's kind of what I was getting at. I mean, that approach of
And we've done it.
Long weekend touring.
We've done it.
Sounds like something that would be doable. You know, it's
and
more
a lot of people are finding that out.
Yeah.
It happens in Nashville a lot. You see a lot of buses rolling out of town on Wednesday or Tuesday. You know, Wednesday and coming back on Sunday.
But some bands are a lot of bands are in the situation where the only money they're making is from touring.
Absolutely.
So it's almost like they can't get off the road.
And here's the thing. We want to be that. Like we're slowly but surely moving towards that goal.
Sure.
And listen, if the right opportunity came along, somebody calls and says, hey, you want to open for, you know, who knows, the Red Clay Strays or Dierks Bentley for
$300
Crow for 2 months straight, we would do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's the opportunity has to arise that makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
And, you know, we are, as a band, I mean, you know, Brian and Emily and I are the core of the band, and we've kind of made that our focus,
Right.
not just with this record, but we've decided for the foreseeable future.
Yes, as a drummer, I noticed that there was no drummer ever photographed anymore.
So, you know.
They're already booked, those guys.
Yeah, so, but, you know, the idea was that, you know, we've all been very passionate about this band for 10 years now.
Yeah.
And we're going to continue being passionate about it. And we have seen, I mean, we started this band as a side project. Brian and I met through a friend of mine named Aaron Vaughn, who used to play guitar for me. And Brian started playing some shows with the Ryan Humbert band at the time. And we kind of bonded over the fact that we both really loved country music.
Right.
And so we started this band, and it was never meant to be anything other than let's just go out and have fun.
Yeah.
We don't care if anybody shows up. We're just going to do old country covers that we love. And it was the first show where I realized, like, man, we are, we're on to something. And it wasn't, like, my first and foremost thought was, this feels so good. It felt real. It felt like all the stuff that I had grown up with and everything. I was able to kind of put all these pieces together finally, and it just clicked from a personal standpoint. Right. Then my marketing business mind kicked in, and I thought, man, like, you know, we really are onto something here, and I think we could actually do something with this. And that was it. I mean, we started the band in 2015. We cut our first demos in 2016. First record came out in 19. And then from there, it's been a record every other year.
Yeah.
And it very quickly pivoted from a side project. We did our very first show at a hot dog restaurant.
Oh, we did one of those.
Yeah, you know.
The Happy Dog?
Yes, the Happy Dog.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it was the Euclid Tavern.
They had two
they
of
were
them.
owned by the Happy Dog, yes. And then the second show we ever did was at the West Side Happy Dog. And then our third show ever was at Annabelle's.
Really? I remember doing...
It was funny because there was another band on the bill, if I'm not mistaken, and I think there was even a punk band after us. We went in there and didn't do anything different, and it went over great.
So I remember doing one of your early shows, the Bizarros and you and a few other bands, when you were still Shooter Sharp.
Yeah, Shooter Sharp and the Shootouts, and that was it. Again, it was just meant to be so tongue in cheek and fun, you know, side project-y, that we were looking for a name like Buck Owens and the Buckaroos or something, and so. We did a show with Rodney Foster, who has become a dear friend and kind of a mentor of the band, and he said, "You ever think about shortening the name of the Shootouts?" And we had already been kind of discussing it, and he said that, and I thought, okay, that's it. So
makes it official.
Never looked back, but you know, and here we are 10 years later. Something kind of fun that we can talk about because we just announced it is our first show ever was October 10th, 2015.
Okay.
So that makes our 10th anniversary, 10-10-25.
Yeah.
We just did the Grand Ole Opry about I guess depending on when this airs, a couple weeks ago, and that was number 9.
Okay.
So I reached out to the Opry and I said, you guys like a good theme as much as I do. And I said, any chance you would want us to book us for our 10th Opry on our 10th anniversary.
Oh, nice. Okay.
On 10-10. And they were like, absolutely, let's do it. So we're super pumped about that. Our 10th Opry, 10th anniversary.
Yeah.
Apparently, the Opry gives you some sort of special surprise or gift for number 10. We don't know what that means exactly yet.
Surprise, you're not getting paid.
I hope that's not it. But you know,
it's all about the money for Nick.
Yeah, so we've got, you know, to your point earlier, you had asked, you know, where we are now versus, you know, Stampede really helped kind of really solidify, I think, where we wanted to go.
Right.
And then we kind of pivoted even a little bit harder with this new record. And now I think looking back at it, those 3 albums almost make kind of a perfect little trilogy.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't even meant to be that way. It's definitely a hindsight thing, where I think the first record, Quick Draw, was us, hard on a sleeve, right? Here's our influences. Second record, here's those influences with a little bit more of Northeastern Ohio in there, maybe. And then the third record was like kind of that second one, but amped up even more. And I think you can kind of hear us trying to figuring ourselves out a little bit in a good way in those 3 records. And then with this new record, I had the distinct honor of hanging out with Rodney Crowell at his house one afternoon, just the 2 of us.
Nice. Yeah.
And we were talking about records, and we'd even talked to him about producing a record for us. And he was very honest, and I'm so thankful that he was. He said, I don't think I could do anything for you guys that you haven't already done. And he said, but I know some folks that could. And one of them was his son-in-law, a guy named Dan Nobler, who has made records for Lake Street Dive, Bahamas, Allison Russell. He was Grammy nominated for his work with Allison Russell. And of course with Rodney and his also his mother-in-law, Roseanne Cash.
Right.
And so we met with Dan, and I told him, I said, here's what we want to do. We need to make a record that maybe is a grown-up Shootouts record this time. Not so much who we are, or who we love, like our influences, but more of who we are. And he took that and helped us run with it. And so we even, as I was writing songs and working on songs and picking songs, we tried to find stuff that, or write stuff or work with stuff that had a slightly different feel, that hopefully felt a little more like us. And I think it even took the band a second to kind of get their head around as a whole. I remember talking to Brian at a rehearsal one time, and he said, I don't know, man, this just kind of sounds like a Ryan Humbert song. And I said, well, it's a good thing I'm in the band. So, and he's like, yeah, you're right, I guess, so, and I think once we got in the studio and we started putting the record together and we started hearing where we were going, I think it really clicked for everybody that like, this record is our influences, but now it is filtered through who we are as musicians that have grown up in the Rust Belt with varied taste and influences. And somebody even asked me, and I've said this a lot in interviews and stuff, because I really think it's true, and I think it's a testament to all the hard work that not only the band put in, but our Dan Nobler and everybody that worked on the record. They said, who do you think this record sounds like? And I think with the previous records, I could have answered that. With this record, I couldn't come up with a good answer. And then all of a sudden it clicked, and I thought, well, that is the best answer.
Yes, right, absolutely.
Like, this record sounds like the Shootout.
Right.
And that's cool. I think on the previous records, you could have said, well, yeah, there's a little bit of Marty Stewart or Dwight Yoakam or BR549 or whatever, and you can still hear those influences in this record. But I definitely think it's more. I think it's maybe a little more true to who we are.
Even the cover song you did on your last album, which is a fantastic album, the Michael Stanley song. I mean, you recreated that song.
And it's funny because we kind of took it from, Michael's version, of course, was fast and kind of rockin' and very of the time. And then I had heard a record that Michael did. What was it called? Live at Tangiers or Live in Tangiers.
Yeah.
And man, I love that record. It was like an acoustic-y live thing. And he does a version that on that record, probably just him and an acoustic guitar, that is a little closer to our version. And then we kind of just, kind of ran with it and did our own thing with it. And it was fun. It was fun to be able to do that and kind of pay tribute to, again, talk about the Rust Belt. I mean, I think that song would have probably fit very well on Switchback too.
Right.
Yeah. Sure.
Maybe a slightly different arrangement just because of production, but I think it would have fit on there as well. And I think you could start to see those lines being drawn from Stampede now that I look back on it.
So this is From Akron and Beyond. I am Bob Ethington with Nick Nicholas, and we are talking to Ryan Humbert of the Shootouts. And we've kind of gotten into the topic of the new album, of Switchback. Highly acclaimed and getting a lot of attention and very exciting. And you were kind of moving into where I was going to ask you the next question, which is, as you are writing the songs and putting the songs together, this is kind of a difficult question to ask, but I'm trying to frame it. That is, but basically, how much of it is being done with a conscious intent of creating a certain kind of sound, or how much of it kind of is sort of almost spontaneous? Like you're saying that, like, there's a little Ryan Humbert that's emerging into the country stew with this new one.
Sure.
And I'm guessing that probably was not necessarily even something in your head. It just happened.
No, not necessarily.
But maybe I'm wrong.
No, I think any songwriter, I mean, unless you're somebody like an Elvis Costello, who we were talking about off mic, that literally just, or Neil Young, or that follows that muse with every record, kind of audience be damned, right? Like, I'm going to make a bluegrass record, or here's a...
Neil for sure.
Or here's a record all about the earth, or, whatever it is. I mean...
That's great.
But even still, even with those guys, you've got a goal in mind, right? Everybody does. I mean, I'm sure, with the Bizarros, if you're not going to sit down and write a Burt Bacharach sounding song, you're going to write a song that feels like the Bizarros, right? That said, what I did as a solo artist was definitely different from the Shootouts. So when I was starting to write songs for the first couple records, we were either taking older songs that I thought, well, this was one that I never really fit anywhere. Maybe it fits with the Shootouts, and we would try those.
Right.
Or I would specifically write things for that. Or I would say, this is an album that doesn't have this type of a song. Maybe we're missing a shuffle, or maybe we're missing a minor key song, or maybe we need another fast song. And we would start looking for him for that, in that sense too, whether it was me writing it or Brian with his instrumental, or we work with Al Moss, quite a bit out of Kent. And so, I do think that a lot of writers write for what the goal is, right? Whether or not they even realize it.
Right.
But Springsteen really only knows how to write a Springsteen tune, right?
You use the keyword artist, but there's a lot of music. This is my old man moment of the show. But there's clearly a lot of music out there now that is extremely popular.
Sure.
That is written by committee. Just 9 composers and
how many producers even?
Yeah, right. And just there's not a lot of heart to that.
No.
And you have a lot of heart in your songs.
It's
like there's that
good point, Paul.
that difference.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, a good song can be written by committee, but I think the difference is what is the goal, right? Like, so for example, on the I remember watching the ACM Awards, I think it was a few months ago, and some of the songs that were up for best song, there was one song that was stunning. Written by one person. Then there was a song that was not what I would call stunning, but man, it sure as heck was catchy, and it was a hit song, and it had hooks, and that was the goal, right? And that song had 9 writers on it.
No.
So, do I have any interest in writing with 9 people? No, not necessarily. But did those 9 people get in the room and accomplish the goal? Well, those nominations and awards would say they probably did.
Yeah.
But also, it's just a different path than somebody that says, I have to write this song for me.
Yeah, right.
And then that actually connecting I think both of those songs, I used to be a little bit more of a stickler about it, but I kind of get it now. I think that the idea of different songs and different styles and different approaches and mission statements is okay. There is a time and a place for all of it. I may not buy that song that had 9 writers on it, but it is, if there is an audience for it and they had a goal in mind and they got there, then you'd call that a success.
Sure, yeah.
But if you have a song that was written by one person and it was probably solely meant for them, and a producer said, that's a damn good song, let's do something with it, and that becomes a success, then it's just different paths to the same location.
Sure, right.
And I used to be a little bit more, I don't know. I mean, I would be a little bit more, I don't want to say snotty, like what's what I'm looking for, a little bit more, nose in the air about certain types of country music.
Elitist.
Yeah, and there's some of that stuff that I still don't care for, and I don't necessarily enjoy, and I wouldn't want to make.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that there isn't a place for it somewhere.
Oh, yeah, no, and I agree with that. Yeah,
it took me a little while to come around to that, but, Yeah, I don't know. It's just I think as we you guys know this too. I mean, I think as you grow as artists and musicians and businessmen and all these different things that we all end up kind of encompassing as a band, you know, it's okay to say like I changed my mind, or it's okay to say like I used to think this about this, but I have a different perspective of it now.
Yeah. Sure. Well, we've talked about this on the show before. I used to be, in my youthful days, a total Stalinist when it came to music. I mean, this was
used
good.
to be.
This was good. I've been accused of that elitism to this day. But no, I mean, no, I think I've really changed. Just because I've just become more open. Like, hey, if somebody else likes it, who cares?
Yeah.
Whereas I used to, it'd be like, this is good. This is garbage.
Yeah.
And you like that garbage? Well, that must mean something bad about you. You know, I'm
more
embarrassed.
judgmental.
I'm embarrassed.
Well,
by
I'm
it
still
now.
like that.
Sure.
I hate to admit it, though.
Yeah, but you know, here's the other thing.
And it reflects poorly on you. Nick.
to go to that point though, I mean there was definitely, and same thing. I probably still occasionally, you know, poo-poo stuff that I shouldn't. But to your point, you know, as you get a little older, you know, the one thing I've also realized too is that a part of it is the fact that like we live in a really rough and tumble time.
Yeah. Oh my God.
There's so much going on out there in the world that
Beyond our control.
is distracting and beyond our control.
Yeah, man.
And so if a 4-minute song can bring some joy to somebody, whether it's something that I don't care for or not, who am I to judge that?
I agree. That's very well put.
Well put, man.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, we all need whatever we can do to get by these days.
Batten down the hatches.
Remember that catchphrase or line, advertising, music saves or whatever?
Yeah, and
man?
it's true.
It does
Music saves.
to this day.
Yeah, music saves. I mean, one thing that I have been kind of dipping my toe in a little bit more lately, you know, with the shootouts, and really in general when it comes to personal as well as before the shootouts, I generally kind of keep my political beliefs to myself, or just like that. I mean, as far as with the shootouts, I mean, we're there to win people over with our music, not any other reason.
Yeah.
Right.
But, you know, as you guys know, there's been an attack on public radio lately, public media.
Right.
And that is something that is very near and dear to all of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I have not been afraid of standing on stage and saying so. And we just did a show in Nashville where, for a public radio station, to a room full of 200 public radio members and listeners, it was live on the air as well. And I gave a pretty impassioned speech, and it kind of got away from me. I mean, I basically even said, like, if, you know, public radio stations are run by your friends, your neighbors that are also passionate about this, and if that means something to you, you better call your senators and your congressmen.
Yeah.
And it's not something I've ever said on stage before.
Right.
And, you know, it's something where music is so important. Music does save. And I've been getting on my soapbox a little bit more about it lately, as far as that goes, and bringing that to the stage, because whatever small platform we have, I mean, even if a few people change their mind or they consider taking action, that means a better world with more music and you know, for all of us.
Yeah, no, well, that's well put. And I think that the biggest challenge, well, there's a lot of big challenges, so I'm not going to rank them.
How much time do you have?
I'm not going to rank them, but one of the many challenges that we all have now is feeling so overwhelmed that you just feel like inert, like there's absolutely everything is out of your control.
Yeah, you're big time.
And you know, gee, if I could change things, I would, but I have no control of anything. You know, but we all do have a little control, and we all do have. And that control expresses itself in the way that we vote, but it also expresses itself in the way that we just make our choices all the time in life.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's like, make those choices conscious and don't just feel that they're being made for you and you have no say.
Right. It's hard to believe that in this day and age, the percentage of eligible people to vote, you know, isn't as great as you think it would be.
I mean, I think 64% voted in 2024, and that was like a high.
Yeah.
I mean, so that said, I mean, to kind of tie it back to where we're with the music side of it, is that, we've all got to do what we got to do to get by. And if that means that somebody likes a song that I don't care for, but that is giving them the energy and the power to get out of bed, or to get people to vote, or to go to work, or to create other art. I mean, so be it. That's great.
Right.
I mean, I've definitely eased up on the elitism a little bit, and I think part of it is also, I think I'd be curious to your guys' thoughts on this, but I feel like as I get a little bit older too, and especially working in the music industry, and working in studios, and it's not like I can appreciate music that might not be my thing, just because I kind of know what went into it.
Right, yeah, sure.
I'm sure you guys probably feel the same way, right?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Maybe it's something you wouldn't buy or listen to, but you're like, boy, this is done well.
Absolutely.
Well, I've become to that point, I've become a very big country fan.
Yeah.
But I wasn't at first. It took me years to get into it. And
old punk rockers don't die; they just go country.
That's what I've said many times.
Yep.
And
Tommy Stimson.
And it's very true. And so I love so much of that stuff. But even with the records that are by some of the country artists now, bro country type stuff, that kind of stuff, which is not my cup of tea. But I mean, the musicianship is always amazing, and that's like I've talked to guys that I play in bands with, accomplished musicians, people like Chris Butler and Harvey Gold, and people like that, and I'll say like that music, you may not like it, but those guys can play anything. I mean, it's like
Nashville has
it's amazing.
Probably the best musicians in the world.
It's nuts.
I mean, there's some great ones in LA and New York, of course, as well. But man, Nashville has really become a hub.
Yeah.
Some of the best musicians I've ever had the opportunity to work with have been right there in Nashville.
Yeah. And you
we were talking about that this morning, about how probably 100 of the best guitar players in the world are in Nashville. You'll never know who they are.
Right. Yeah.
They're just there.
It's we have had such a fun time working in that city. We've made 2 of our 4 records there, and we did even some overdubs for record number 3 there. Boy, I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, when our producer Dan was like, "Oh, we should have mandolin on this song. Let me call Sam Bush," or we covered an old Pure Prairie League song on this album from 1981, and it was written by Vince Gill, and we'll just call Vince and see if he wants to join. I mean, that can't happen in Akron,
right?
Right? Like, and it can.
You have a lot of big names.
We were fortunate. Rodney was kind of the godfather of the project in a roundabout way, whether he knows it or not. I mean, obviously he introduced us to Dan, and then he knew we were making the record, and he joined us. But Rodney, Crowell, Vince Gill, Sam Bush, Mickey Raphael from Willie's band. Just incredible. And 2 up-and-comers as well, Logan Ledger and Lindsay Lou, both kind of making waves in the Americana world. Lindsay Lou kind of also in the bluegrass, newgrass world. She's incredible. Logan Ledger has such a great voice. He's currently just joined Margot Price's band.
Oh, okay.
And
he had some solo stuff, didn't he?
Some really great solo
really
records.
good.
Yeah, really great. His first record, T-Bone Burnett produced. I mean,
that's why.
Yeah, really great record. And Mickey, man, I'll tell you what, when he came in the studio, nicest guy, and we were in the control room, and he started playing harmonica. And
you talking about recognizable sound,
it took
right?
my breath away because I thought we almost got all choked up. We're like, that's the sound. Like, when you picture every Willie record and a lot of the ones by all the other guys, he's played with everybody. It's like with Willie, it's Willie and Trigger and Mickey. Those are the 3 sounds, right? Yeah. Trigger is guitarist, that old guitar he's got. Those are the sounds. And so all of a sudden we heard that coming back through the speakers, and it was powerful. Yeah. And same thing with Rodney Crowell. I mean, I've been such a fan of Rodney since I was a kid. To now call him a friend,
that's amazing.
And be able to spend time with him and have him kind of mentor us into this record,
right?
And then have him sing on it. I mean, we've been very fortunate to work with some great folks that we idolize.
Beautiful.
But when I heard Rodney's voice coming back through the speakers, I got choked up. I got teared up. I thought, that is a guy that I don't even know if we'd be doing this. He's one of the influences, right? And here he is singing on our record. And that guy wrote "Till I Gain Control Again" and "Ain't Living Long Like This" and "Stars on the Water" and so many amazing songs. And here he is, kind of validating the work we do.
Yeah. Well, that's what it is. It's a validation.
Sure.
Same thing with Vince. I mean, Vince was the nicest guy you'll ever meet. One of the nicest musicians, humans. We saw him at the Opry last, and he joined us on stage that night.
Yeah.
We arrived before he did, and our dressing room was next to his, and he walked by and kind of popped his head in the door and goes, "Hey, welcome, family." I mean, and then came in the dressing room and sat down and talked with us for 20 minutes after we did. There's a video going around. It's on Facebook. It's been viewed like 250,000 times now, and it's us in the dressing room practicing the song.
Oh,
with
I've
Vince.
seen that. Yes.
Yeah, and then after that stops, we just kind of talked about the song for a minute, and then he sat down and talked guitars with us for 15, 20 minutes.
And if I let you break my heart.
A lot of folks will tell you, like, don't meet your heroes.
Yeah.
We've been fortunate. So many of the ones that we've met that we love have been Ray Benson. I mean, that guy is a legend. He's performed for like 5 presidents, and I mean, just an absolute country music legend. He got to work with all the Bob Wills cats, and Texas Playboys. He worked with all the Texas Playboys. I mean, just he got to work with a lot of these folks while they were on their way out.
Right.
And Ray, when we visited Austin, he said, "You ever been to Austin before?" And we said, "No, sir." And he said, "All right, well, I'll pick you up at 9 a.m. tomorrow. We'll take you on a tour." And sure as hell, 9 a.m. sharp, he was there, Brian and I got in his pickup truck, and he took us on a 2-hour tour of the city.
No. Oh,
nice.
Just pointing out and telling us. I mean,
there's the bridge with the bats.
Yeah, right. I mean, here's what used to be here, and here's how this changed, and here's what's new. And, so we've been very fortunate that we have been able to meet some of our heroes, work with some of our heroes.
Yeah.
This was never in the plan for this band, and all of a sudden realized that this is what we should be doing. And I think it's also a clear indicator too that, like, man, follow your heart. Like, follow, like, you can make music with your head a little bit to a point, and I think that needs to be part of the equation always.
Yeah.
But man, really, the minute that we started the Shootouts, and it felt like Brian and I were putting our heart into something that we really believed in, good things happened.
Sure. Yeah.
So to me, it was a clear indicator, like, but also, like, had I started the Shootouts 10 years before, would it have even mattered? Would it have been the same? Would it have, I think it was
right place, right time.
Right place, right time.
Yeah.
Yep, right place, right time. And and there's no point in even asking that because, this band has seen, even on, again, a very minor scale, successes that we had never even had in store for this band.
So we're at kind of a pinnacle here. We're running out of time.
Yeah.
We're at kind of a pinnacle here with your album Switchback. And you've got a 10th anniversary big show coming up at the Opry in October.
Yes, we have a whole bunch of fun stuff coming up. We haven't even announced a bunch
Bizarre's
of
even have a
stuff.
song called 1010 Baby. 1010 Baby.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. We
Don't listen to Nick. He'll just drag you down.
You might want to cover that.
We'll cover it. Coming up in August, we are doing a whole bunch of dates with Asleep at the Wheel.
Okay.
We'll be in, I don't know, 7 or 8 different states with those guys. In September, we will be officially showcasing at Americana Fest in Nashville. We're also doing an event with SiriusXM for them. In July, we have a big SiriusXM Outlaw Country live mini concert that'll be all over their airwaves.
Yeah.
In October, we'll be down at the Opry again for our 10th anniversary. I think we're going to maybe even do some 10th anniversary tour dates around there. And we've also got some stuff in store with the Opry for later in the year, too. So we're going to be very busy. And
we
with
heard
our
Christmas
new booking
song.
I can't wait.
I have my suspicions
with
about
our
this.
with our new booking agency. We're already starting to plan 2026 and look at festivals and opening slots and really, again, get ahead of it, be smarter.
I would not ask most musicians this, but I'm going to ask you.
Please do.
So, roughly, do you have an idea when your next album will come out?
Probably. I mean, I would venture to guess.
He has the title. He has everything.
I would venture to guess that we will probably end up in the studio in 2026, and it will probably come out in
27?
27.
Okay.
I mean, who knows? I mean, the other thing is that was the, now that we have a little different team and with Transoceanic being so passionate about what we're doing and so supportive, maybe that timeline's a little faster. Maybe because some of the things
I wouldn't be surprised if it is.
Sure. Yeah, that we had to figure out previously, maybe we don't, maybe those hurdles don't exist as much. So I don't know. I don't know for sure, but it's not going to be that long. I bet you I bet you by the end of 26 or first half of 2027.
With everything, this is going to be has to be our last
Yes.
question.
We're out of time,
We're
Bob.
going to be playing plenty of your music through this show. But do you are you finding that you still have, with everything else that you're doing, in terms of running the band and looking ahead for gigs and what have you, do you still have plenty of time to write songs?
The honest answer is not as much as I would like.
Yeah, I would think not.
I mean, I would love to be able to wake up every morning and go sit at my desk and work on songs. Mm-hmm. But, that's part of the give and take of trying to do this full time.
Right.
Is that you have to, it takes 15 years to be an overnight success. And so, you've got to work at that, and there are sacrifices, whether it be personal or one of them is that, I would love to write every day. I just don't have that luxury yet, hopefully.
Yeah,
maybe hopefully down the road I will.
Yeah.
But I wish I had a little more time for that. But I will say with Switchback, I made a much more conscious effort to say, with Stampede, I didn't get to write as many new songs as I would have wanted to because I was busy with the business side, and I wasn't going to let that happen again.
Yeah.
So I really, as a matter of fact, I brought in a very dear friend of mine, J.D. Iker, wonderful musician, and I said, look, I need some help. I need somebody to help me listen to 50, 60 songs that I've got, and it needed to be somebody outside of the band. And by that point, we didn't even know who our producer was.
New ears, yeah.
I said, I just need somebody with new ears that I trust, that is a dear friend, that can kind of do this. And he helped me weed through a bunch of songs. And there's a lot of ways to get to your end goal.
Yeah.
And with that, it was looking through older songs, writing new songs, stuff that I hadn't recorded before, stuff that maybe I had recorded as a solo artist.
Yeah.
And just
it's all there.
It's all there, and it's all fair game.
Sure, exactly.
So I would like to be able to write more, and my goal is with every record we do to continue to try to make that a bigger and better priority.
Sure. Well, that's great. Well, that's an important part of what you're doing, and it's. That's awesome.
Yeah, we're also a bit of a collective too, right? Brian writes instrumentals. We work with Al Moss. We do a few cover songs. I'm not precious about it.
Yeah,
I don't have to have my name on all 12 songs on the record.
Right.
A good song is a good song is a good song. So, but that being said, I just for personal satisfaction, I want to be able to be creative in that sense and contribute to that side of what we do too. Mm-hmm.
Now, this is the last thing I'm going to say. But as you've been talking about Ryan, I've been thinking about how country music. One beautiful thing about it, I think maybe jazz has this in common, but it's. I mean, it is you can be a lifer, a true lifer in country music. What my point here being, you get fans, they'll be with you 30 or 40 years from now.
Let's hope.
So, I mean, it's a, as long as you keep out of trouble, Ryan. None of these,
We're not that type of thing. I mean,
the gin bottle rolling under the car and all that.
I thought you were thinking of Diddy kind of stuff.
No, please.
Well, geez, edit that out. We're always going to be a band, I think, that follows our muse a little bit, and I mean, I think you can see a little bit of some of those folks we talked about.
It's gotten where you are. Why would you not?
Yeah. Right. But we're going to just keep doing what we love to do. And I think that seems to be connecting. And we probably will take some side roads here and there. We've already talked about doing a Shootouts bluegrass record.
Yeah, you should. Yeah.
So there's going to be some little detours here and there. I think but I think that keeps you on your toes.
And it's cool. It'll broaden the palette for what you guys
Agreed.
are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, this has been beautiful talking with you, Ryan.
Yeah, thank you guys so
Great
much.
time,
Appreciate
man.
the support, and also, you know, you guys. This is one of my favorite shows on the Summit. Thank you guys for spotlighting,
Thank you very much.
you know, local artists as well as the local music history and all the stuff you guys are doing. It was needed, and it is welcome, and it's one of my favorite things the Summit does.
Well, great.
Thank you so much.
But don't
buddy.
forget us when you have that next album.
Yeah.
You guys ready to go on the road, right?
Yeah, we're ready. Take care, buddy.
So this has been From Akron and Beyond. I'm Bob Ethington with Nick Nicholas. We will see you next time.